Ask Mixing with Mike. How can I speed up my mixing? The process of speeding up your mixing is really more about making your mixing efficient than it is about making your mixing sloppy. And the idea here is that you want to start to develop good habits and simplify your signal flow and create it in such a way and a working process that gets you consistent results. There are many things that you can do to speed up your mixing. One is to create mix templates. When you actually create a mix template, what you're doing is you're getting all of your sends, your three-tier mix structure in terms of the stem processing, all your effect sends for the individual groupings of instruments set up ahead of time with all their buses named and numbered and the basic effects that you like to use as a starting place for all the things. Like even if you have a reverb for the vocal and you have 3 separate reverb plugins instantiated on it that you're the ones you go to the most often, and you have them all deactivated. The idea is that you set up all of your bus structure and your auxiliary sends and your routing and everything. And when you open up your session for a mix, you import all of those tracks. And then you just have to move them into the location of the different groupings of instruments. And when you've done that, now you've saved yourself maybe an hour's worth of work of setup just in a simple thing like that. So the idea then is that once you've got this simple structure set up, now when you start the process of mixing and you say, hey, I need a chorus effect on that bass, boom, it's already set up with the basic settings that you always use. You tweak the settings, you get the sound right, exactly what we want, cool, next sound. And then you go on to the next thing. I need a reverb on the vocal. I got 3 different reverbs. Which one works? You know, you bypass each of them, figure out which one sounds the best. It's like, okay, I like this one. Now let's go on to the next thing. And it allows you to get into a creative workflow that makes things go faster. Similar type of things with plugins. Start to store presets for settings. If you like to use particular settings for bass, particular plugins, set them up and have preset settings with the settings that you like to start with so that you load it up, you come up with your basic presets, and then you got a good starting place for that. It's like, oh, that one doesn't work. Here's my next go-to one for bass sound. And then you got a preset you like there. And starting with these things, so as you mix, start to accumulate your favorite settings and store them as you go along. Accumulate them, build them into a template, and then kind of package the whole thing together so that when you start the mix, it takes you a very short time to set it up, get started, and then once you get into a creative workflow, you don't want to be stopped by anything that's going along. You want to be able to just say, okay, I don't have to spend time assigning plugins and figuring out my signal flow and assigning sends and then renaming the buses because I want it to be this way. You just set it up and you go. And this is part of the process that I'll be getting into in the speed mixing course. And this is like just one of many things that you can do to kind of speed up your mixing. It's not about decreasing the quality of the work or being sloppy. It's about being really efficient and really smart about the way that you approach the mixing process.